leaned against the balding foot of a lolling hill, an oniony rascal blinked and bleated at me, and black cream of waterlogged peat raised up around my frailty. Thereupon I considered nothing. Hard-shelled for poor Edgar Allan. Within the foggy confines of a saint's city, guts and lungs filled with smoke and whiskey, a guitar's strings vibrate by fingernails. In a bar with kitchen chairs, conversation in single layers, between fulsome drinks, on warped vinyl scratch dust pulls under the needle. Foot stomp flattens a black-shelled beetle, dragged thin across the floor, a macabre relic for beetle horror. That dull poet scratching on lined pages, scribbling by poverty's pen, fed on eggs from the inundated hen, and cinders of dying fire litter the floor, a macabre flicker for beetle horror. Lit by drinks drank in syrupy minutes, dank, rotten odor of natural armpits. And lights, and the knob of the greasy door, one last spit up on the floor, an eerie phantom perfume adored, a macabre bouquet for beetle horror. I've seen the aviary. I've seen 100 tiny crows lit in the limb-knitted wreath, all those pitch-bone beaks reaping in the berry-jeweled laurel wreath. I sit serene, serene in that delirium, serene in delirium's teeth, between the gum and cheek. And there came a terrible batting from the leafless limbs, came a husking, smacking of feathers, fluttered from limbs, and ran of red, red drupelets, a rain shook by the jolt and the stain of 100 feathers. There stood before them a figure with a shroud of brown linen, stood before the murder in a tight and complete shroud of linen. That mad compulsion pulled this casualty along, the mad and tempting whistle, a bewitching song and a tuneless mutter. Eggless and listless, that flitting wildness wilted by bondage, snatched out of the thaw skies of spring. Proud postures hunched by bondage, tiny rooks the size of matchboxes. By small singing beaks, and by tiny ribbon tongues, hack out, bound eternal by that guttural, glorious urge to sing. Oh, the end of the kennel man. There were 16 starving legions at my feet, mad with thirst, enraged by my reign, bound by villainous word, strung out on my narcotic, lapping at intoxicants that pour from my body upon the mound below this unholy seat. A long hollow mushroom grew from my forearm, rigid, proud, blooming and rotting in one breath, leaving a liquefying stump filled with carpenters and slugs. As a great crack splintered in the dome above me, and the fingers of ivory pillars pried that terrible prison, my sight grew blind by the immense light, and I am become the salt of death. Stricken along. with a brace of snared seagulls draped over her shoulder, enwrapped in twine, blonde blood and feathers, her fingers black with midnight thieving back toward her poverty the child strode. Her teeth and tongue dyed red by berries plucked along the track. Stones disturbed by her boots and the soft thud of carrots at her knees are music for the moon, not a sound fore nor aft on her walk. The return of the foul archangel. Two men skulked upon me, holy, 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 with costumes and Bibles, smiles and delicate outstretched hands, as I dressed among the aching flowers, screeching as they raptured into beauty. And the two, fully God, fully man, enraptured me with the word. We belly laughed in amphetamine psychosis, that habitation of devils. And yes, the ground broke before us, and the screams of insects lit the sky in a swarming mad cluster, the comedy of empty mouths and lust. My revelators lurked away quick, stinking of wine with gray hoods pulled down covering their faces. The bent and broken horns of skeletal hair crumpled my yard as a demonic face crowned from below, his birthing bestial grimace falling from the womb, spitting woe and blasphemy. Oh, the noise! The madness of sound, voices, thunder, swarms of insects supreme bellowing like an orchestral pit in a livid storm, belching up the dead like climbing spiders from my low heap of hippie compost. Stravinsky can be heard through the stained glass windows of this refuge, wooden percussion, vibrating brass, bowed strings, a goddess terror-possessed and frowning from her huge hands, rending themselves out of shape by the abundant store. The difficult length of the Nativity reveals again the radiant and hysterical painting, The Sun, 1911, by Gustav Doré. Set dapper with his wooden engraving tools, rapidly raining dust upon his shoes, his magnitudes of lines trimmered by the viciousness of his beginning. He fumbles his scrimshaw pipe down into the heap of artsy refuse, igniting the whole shithole town. Tiny animals run panicked into the forest. This may have been a hallucination. As 100-year-old trees burn up like paper, scarlet tanagers, furious in limb and leaf, shake droplets from their wings and screech off across the sky. As the archfiend pulls itself free, toxic soot puffs from his nose, snotting out abomination in septum breathing. His damp nightmare emerging, filthy, naked, and flexing, thus is immediately met with the poking blind of police flashlights and a deluge of medication. A trinity of orderlies rush in with hypodermic needles poised like dainty cigarettes. Disoriented by the silenced artillery and the soft click of insect husks dropping from the sky, his lush shrivels before the rejected trenches, then is discreetly led away. So, by supervised reeling, the burnout Leviathan lay to waste as his brief fires cooled to warm soot. 2 Two men creep out of the singed alder bushes, peeling back gray hoods and squinting, happily gluing together scraps for their triumphant sermon. Aside the tracks, a poem had been begun, a pandemonium I could not finish. The pages lit in a pile, worrisome and dank, moldered and totally eaten up by age as I crosshatch and hen scratch. Great towers swelled in my mouth, lichen covered, blinking with mica and wrapped in the howl of loons. Monuments to worship, horrible and empty, its doors and its hatches boarded up. The feast I ate of sat devoid of nourishment, and I envied the web strung and collecting while the weaver drank to alert. A paper dragonfly wing tuned, turned, spun as refuse under its sticky construction, so I plucked its rigid structure and peeled through its windows, where a patch of mushrooms wrinkled, flaming in the trees, silent to me, beckoned. Throughout the night, the screech of that work agonized my bones, cried and cried, until it collapsed unfinished and ancient. Then I spied the white of the rodent who died that night, leaving his skull beguiling, creamy and cracked, wide-eyed and smiling. Through his teeth I seen gleaming, set and belly full, a grinning frog-eyed me shining. With silver voices calling out from my scrawl, by chips of graphite on books black sung about crumbs, I fell into a soak, a bath of warm sun spilling onto the floor, chiming, and ran down into the scuppers, chattered and rattling, moving in patterns and rhyming. My wife's face tipped, susceptible as a sphere of molten glass spun in the hands of a flu-stricken blower. When every document I had saved up, she filed into a leathern bag. The shelves around the room, shining yellow and green with pyrite, sat dull then, trembled with flung door, framed in equine carved oak, dark by oil as our coats snapped with the tide of paper dancing about. And lo, a sprig of joy leadeth us to the swarming waters sailed upon by my foes, the dwelling place of the sunken, the dwelling place of the sunken. This Faust tasting of conquest, on its shores, a thin woman with tattoos running from her lips, her child poking seaweeds, sweet together waters, hitting a drum held between her knees. She filled her mouth with stones and hit 13 slow strikes of barefooted stocking, 13 quick strikes of a lusty heart. Each pebble she spat back into her hand, flicking them one by each into the drink. On the crest of each ripple lay silent scribes into their dreamless depths. And we chewed upon the divinest comfort, with the living bread of our fire, seated in berserk vehemence and permanent words, on a beach of happy wolf spiders and stones orange by the drowning sun. Stuff's over here too if anybody wants to come and look at some crazy acrylic pushing around. I've done it. And there's also books here for sale that I've done written. And they're prints of things also. If anybody would even like to come and talk about it or poke them. There's a whole bag full of stuff in it. Anything you need. Woo! Up next, Sheila's Bush.
Woo!